Hi, my name is Connor McCarthy. My student number is 100-426-175, and the games I'm going to analyze are World of Warcraft and League of Legends. So for World of Warcraft, most of the game can be done on your own, but in order to complete dungeons and raids and anything higher, like the endgame content, you need a group to do so, and because it's an MMO, you have to interact with the players, and whether you want to or not. It's impossible to fully play the game on your own. So because people are required to work together to complete raids, without coordination, it will fail. So they have to work together. They can't just do their own thing. A perfect example of this is Looking for Raid, where people are put together with random people, and the mechanics of the raids and the difficulties have to be decreased because people without coordination have difficulties doing them. And even then, people with full actual groups are more likely to succeed, where they can communicate the entire time as opposed to a bunch of people just trying to do it on their own. So for World of Warcraft, the main resource, I guess in this case, would be gear and their ability to get good items. And this is commonly gained through the completion of dungeons and raids, or through player versus player things in where they play as teams against each other. So better gear, in this case, results in higher social status, because that's the main way people are judged in World of Warcraft. If you have better gear, you're a better player. It may not always be true, but that's how it works. And also achievements for completing bosses or getting certain ranks in PvP, and all of these things have to be gained through social interactions, because you have to work as a group to get the best gear, and you have to work as a group to get the best PvP gear. And so, yeah, better gear, better reputation in the World of Warcraft. Next game is League of Legends. This is a team-based game, so in order to play, you immediately have to be playing with a group, unless you just don't, you can't. You have no option. You have to play as a group in order to play this game. And they have a number of ways of interacting with the players in order to make that possible. So different interactions are, you can talk via the text in-game to either your team or the other team that you're playing against. And there's also in-game pings, which lets you communicate things quickly by pinging certain spots of the map so that people know what is going on, where you were moving, and how they can react accordingly. These are all done. So these are all social because they're all done to allow players ways to communicate in the game, so that they can work together to complete their objective, which is obviously winning the game in this case. If this is obviously necessary, because in order to play the game, if you try and play on your own with no communication, it's very difficult, because the game is based around teamwork mostly, despite what people think. And it is very difficult to win if you are not working as a team. So the main resources, I guess, in this case, things like ladder ranking. So there's a ladder in the game, and more games you win, the higher rank you are. People generally assume you're better if you're higher ranking, and if you're better, people have more respect for you, people will do more things for you. So usually, in order to get a higher ranking, you have to be good at playing as a team, in addition to just being good at the game. This is especially true if you want to play a full team. You definitely need communication to get higher. Also in-game, there is also the resource of gold and objectives, which are much easier to take and much easier to get if you are actually working together. So if you get a kill on your own, it's worth a little bit of gold, but if you work together to get kills or objectives, the gold generation is increased, and obviously global objectives, which again require teamwork to get, will be worth more gold. So social interactions equals more gold in the game, equals better chance of winning the game, social status. So okay, and then for the bonus, looking at non-social game, so in this case, Diablo 3. So this game is not a social game, because even though there is multiplayer in it, you don't need to interact with anyone to do anything. You can play the game completely on your own, never see anyone. If you do want to do the multiplayer, you don't even have to talk to them, you don't have to do anything to them, you just happen to be in the same world as them at the time. But there's no interaction, no teamwork, no communication whatsoever. And yeah, so they could change this to be a social game. A number of ways. First of all, it used to be more of a social game because they used to have the auctioneers, which meant players could buy and sell gear to each other. So that was a form of social interactions that got them gear. And in Diablo 3, the main resource is again loot and gear. So better gear, your character's stronger, strong characters, better social status. But that was removed. So that was the main social interaction that was there before. It's gone now. So if you wanted to make a social game, you could add it back in. You could also have enemies that require actual teamwork to defeat. So that will require some form of social connection and communication in the game in order for players to get better gear, and then that better gear would go where people want to interact with them and work with them to do bosses and so forth. So that would be a way to take Diablo 3 and make it into a social game.